Kim, should we wait a few more minutes before starting?
I just need everybody's cameras on.
Okay, aloha. Oh, there you are. Hey, good morning. So it looks like we could go ahead.
What did you say?
I think we're ready. Yeah, we're ready. And only commissioners' cameras really need to be on. So if anybody wants to, of course, we prefer everyone's cameras on. But yes, I think we are go for liftoff chair.
At 10.
Well,
We
in
start
about
at
a
10.
minute.
Yeah, in a minute. And Nicole is planning on joining us as well.
Okay. So we
And
only
I
have,
just admitted Nicole. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Nicole's coming.
so we have 6.
Yes.
Thanks for joining, Scott. Oh, cool. There too. Great. Matt's here. Cool. Good morning. And Auntie Nicole is connecting. Oh, she just disappeared.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Commissioner Louis makes 7.
Cool. Yes, that's what I have to. Okay. Is it all right? Can we go ahead and get started? Is it 10:01? Okay.
Yes.
Just a reminder for commissioners to refrain from using the chat feature on Zoom, that all questions should be made publicly unless it is a computer connectivity issue. Okay, we'll call to order. Good morning, everyone. The hybrid meeting of the Cultural Resources Commission will now come to order. Quorum has been established with 7 members in attendance. Today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. It is 10:01 a.m. Pursuant to Act 220 Session Laws of Hawaii 2021, which amended the Sunshine Law to allow meetings to be remotely conducted online, effectively January 1st, 2022, the Cultural Resources Commission will host a hybrid meeting of online and in-person participants. An in-person location has been identified on the agenda for the public to provide testimony on agenda items and to view the meeting. This meeting can also be viewed live online. A link to the YouTube live stream is provided on the county website. The video recording will remain on the YouTube channel for those who are not able to watch it live. Reports and surveys reviewed during this hearing are available on the county website. Commissioners, please be reminded that only one person may speak at a time. Raise your hand to be recognized if you have a question or a comment. We'll do introductions now. Commissioners, please introduce yourselves and report if others are present in your location. My name is Aaron Spielman and no one else is here, but you might see me talking to my dogs. And we can go to Ke Aloha next.
Aloha, Ke Aloha Kini here, in my office and no one else is present. Thanks.
Thank you. Kilohana, if you'll introduce yourself, please.
Aloha, Commissioner Kilohana Hirano, and I'm also alone in my office.
Hi, good morning, Ku'ule. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Aloha Pumehana, I am Ku'uleika Kealani. No one is home with me today. Mahalo.
Aloha, Nicole, if you please introduce yourself.
You're muted, Nicole.
Yeah. Oh, aloha. Nicole Louis here. I am at work and I'm in the office with my boss.
Good, thank you. Matthew Clark.
Aloha, Commissioner. Matthew Clark. I'm alone in my office.
Great, thank you. And I see Natalie joined us as well. That makes 8 for our quorum. Good morning, Natalie.
Kako, Natalie Kirishima, also alone.
And Scott Mahoney. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Scott Mahoney. I'm here alone.
Okay, very good. Thank you all for being.
And Chair Spillman, Uncle Des is here as well.
Oh, good morning, Uncle Desmond.
Aloha, my kako. Aloha, kakayaka. Kako. I'm here with my dog and my 2 cats that you're going to hear periodically. Just disregard. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you. Cool. We have 9 then for a quorum. Excellent. Everyone's here. Thank you all. Pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statutes 92-3, interested persons who want to provide oral testimony may do so either at the beginning of the meeting when the board takes public statements on the agenda or immediately before the specific agenda item is called. Staff, please indicate if there are any members of the public wishing to provide testimony online or in person.
Negative.
Okay, thank you. So we'll proceed to the business of the commission. For today, we're looking at the Waiaka Bridge realignment, PL-CRC-2023-000007. National Historic Preservation Act, NHPA, Section 106 consultation request. Location is Ahupua'a of Lalamilo in Keanui o Mano, District of South Kohala, Hawaii Island. TMK 36-5-001:015, 033, there's another TMK here. It would also be 36-6-001:011 and 077. We don't have any public testifiers at this time.
No, sir.
Ikalomai, Mr. Spillman. If I could request, I don't know if you did open with Pule, that we open with Pule because of our current events happening in Hawaii. If you could open up with Pule, please.
Sure. Yeah, please do so.
Okay. We're facing a lot of struggles in Hawaii. So I'd like to open up with Pule and acknowledge our ivikupuna of our na'ali'i at Lele in Lahaina. It's a he pule ho'opale kana no maui nui akama. He pule kako. E nā akua e o umai kiai, mai ka pō mai, e nana ia ka mokupuni o maui nui akama. Mai luna alalo, mai kahi kihi a kahi kihi. Mai kahi kina o ake ko komohana, mai loko a waho, ki ai ia malama ia e pule ana i nā ho'opilikia ana. E ko maui nohona. Mama ua noa, alele vale ia maui nui a kama. Mahalo ki a kua. Amene.
Amen. Mahalo.
Amene.
Okay, thank you. So we're talking about Waiaka Bridge realignment. There's no public testifiers at this time, so we'll close for public testimony. The Department of Transportation project is seeking CRC consultation regarding Kauai Road and the replacement of Waiaka Bridge and realignment of road approaches within Kauai Road right-of-way and Kohala Mountain Road right-of-way. We'd like to give the DOT applicant the floor to provide the presentation. Kevin, if you might want to introduce the DOT.
Excuse me, Chair, before we start, just for full disclosure, the company I work for, we worked as a sub-consultant on this project, so just want to make you aware. I know it's just consultation, so it shouldn't matter, but.
Okay. And you don't feel like there would be a reason that you couldn't perform your duties as a commissioner in this regard?
No, I don't.
Thank you. So Kevin, if you'd like to introduce the DOT team and we'll turn it over.
Yes, thank you, Chair. We do have representatives from DOT here ready to give you a presentation on this 106 project. Mr. Andy Hirano and Mr. Darren Chin. are here, and I will hand it over to them. And you guys should be able to share screen, or I can pull up the PowerPoint. It's up to you.
Okay, this is Darren Shinen. I'm the project manager from WSP. We're the consultant planning and engineering firm for Department of Transportation. Let me try to pull up the my screen, Kevin. Let me know if it's popping up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's the slides that we had previously provided. Again, so with me is Andy Hirano. He's the project manager from Department of Transportation Highways Division side. We're here to present the Waiaka Bridge replacement and the realignment of approaches project. Where we stand right now is we're still looking to wrap up the environmental clearances for this project. The final EA was published in July of last year, and we're looking to wrap up federal clearances, which include the Section 106 process, and outreach to CRC is one of our last parties that we're looking to get input from. The project is, information is on DOT's website if anybody is interested. And again, Andy Hirano is our point person at DOT. Any questions or comments would go directly to him. So I wanted to just give an overview of where everything stands for the project right now, why we have to do it, and some of the historic archaeological cultural issues that we found during our environmental process portion of the project and project schedule and construction that's going to be coming up in the future. So the existing bridge was built in 1932. It is a very narrow, very short span bridge. The existing bridge is shown over here. It doesn't meet current standards. We want to provide both, of course, travel lanes for vehicular traffic. We want to provide shared use path type of lane, or pathways for both pedestrians, bicyclists, and we understand we even have equestrian traffic in this area. So we're looking to accommodate all of those, similar to what was provided subsequent to the original bridge construction on this makeshift walkway on the north side of the bridge. As part of the project, we're looking to address the intersection and traffic issues that currently exist out there. This triangular configuration with lanes coming, traffic approaches on both sides of the triangle are kind of obsolete nowadays. I know I've seen that in a lot of the older intersections around, the state and even on the island here on Oahu. But we're looking to provide a roundabout to improve intersection operations at this intersection. We understand there is a lot of traffic on Kauai going back and forth from, the west to east traffic, yet there's still traffic from Kohala Mountain Road. There's HPA over here that adds to the traffic before and after school, I'm sure. So the gist of the project is constructing this roundabout for the intersection operations and replacing the existing bridge with a much wider bridge that accommodates, like I said, vehicle lanes and a shared use path for pedestrians, bicyclists, and equestrians. The existing bridge is this small little rectangle in here, so it is quite a bit larger that we're looking to expand the bridge, particularly because it's a roundabout with the approaches that flare out for both the westbound direction and coming in this way for the eastbound direction. Sequencing of the project is going to be constructing the roundabout first. The project will involve construction of a temporary road coming this way in the westbound direction, a temporary bridge over the existing stream, tying into the roundabout here, allowing us to close off this area and just fully work on the bridge. The project will involve right-of-way acquisition. The right-of-way line currently is right around here. And the roundabout, this upper third of the roundabout will require land acquisition from HPA property. We're looking to keep all our work on the frontage area, on the grass side of the existing rock wall that's on the HPA property there. So the new bridge will, like I said, will be a 60-foot span bridge. The original bridge is probably was in here. It's like a 32-foot span that had a single pier in the middle also. So we're eliminating any type of middle pier, widening the existing bridge location. The original bridge location looks like it was narrowed to construct the bridge. So the existing waterway is roughly really from where we show bridge to bridge, what we call abutment walls. So it should, we're looking to improve drainage in particular, I guess in addition to the new bridge work and what's required. That there are issues with that stream during high flood events. The narrow openings with the center pier has caused some blockage at times, and has even caused the stream to overflow on top of the roadway at least a couple of times in recent memory, is my understanding. So one thing we're at least looking to do, understanding the historic nature of the bridge, we want to at least replicate as much as possible the appearance of the bridge. And again, for bridge work, the most economical and feasible way for us to do that is to look at the bridge railings. This was the style of the bridge railings back in the 30s. We're looking to replicate that as much as possible with the new bridge. So DOT does have some standard railings that match the bridge railings of that period. So these recessed rectangular insets are something that we're looking to use for our new bridge. Of course, the railings will not be exact, but these are at least crash tested to current standards, meet all current engineering standards and guidelines that's required for bridge railings. These are just a section of what the bridge is. Just going to be a solid concrete railing with the inset panels to replicate the look. So what we found during our research is two historic resources. Of course, the bridge, which was built in 1932, like we've talked about. And there's a USGS stream gauge station right around this area that we noted in our research. We should be able to avoid the stream gauge with our temporary roadway work. That will be a condition of the contract. And of course, for the bridge, it's going to be a total removal and replacement. So the recommended treatment for addressing this historic resource is architectural recordation for the existing bridge prior to any construction work. No cultural practices were noted within our area. We will be doing whatever it takes to protect the stream environment and wildlife in the area during construction. All of those things will be part of our construction contract requirements. Construction, we anticipate to be 18 months. It's going to be, we know it's a very busy area. We hope to address a lot of the delays and backups with the temporary road. But even with that, we understand that, I mean, like any typical roadway construction project, there will be interruptions, there will be intermittent lane closures, and there will be a lot going on during that whole construction period. Noise, dust will all be addressed as standard requirements within our construction contract. So again, going back to our project schedule, EA was published last year. We're at the point where design is ongoing right now, and we're looking to finish up our environmental clearances on the federal side. We're looking to wrap up design by summer of next year, and we're looking to bid the project shortly thereafter. One of the issues that's ongoing right now is the overhead utility lines in the area. We're working with Hawaiʻi Electric, and then we're also going to have to be working with Hawaiian Telcom to take care of all of those relocations. It is a lot of work on the utility side, and so our schedule is really dependent on making sure that both our design is complete and that the overhead utility relocation designs and construction could be ongoing around the same time. I mean, in a perfect scenario, that's what we're looking at. And as noted, construction duration 18 months, and we have an estimated construction cost of 15 mil. So the slide will provide our contact information. This is Andy's email, and this is my email. And again, the DOT's project website does stay up to date with the latest project information and schedule. I can take any questions or comments that you guys have at this time.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions that they'd like to ask? I had a couple.
Yes, I do. Aloha, I'm Ku'ule Kekealani. I live in Waimea and certainly familiar with the area. I was actually consulted with as well. I guess my question is kind of looking at, I know you folks said that there's going to need to be some land acquisition from HPA.
Yes.
I'm not too positive, and so, well, maybe a couple of things. One, I wouldn't mind a site visit because I want to know the extent of, maybe for the temporary bridge, where exactly, right? You kind of want to, it's okay to look at things on the map where that's great, but to ground truth things is also even better. We can actually see the extent of what will be, I'm going to say, kind of disrupted or needed to be put in place, right, so that the work can be done. But my question is also about the acquisition of the HPA lands and how far in one of your pictures, you can definitely see that the entrance to, or one of the entrances to HPA Upper Campus is I don't know, is that in the project area or not? That I think is one of why I really would like to do a site visit. And I really need to go back and look at the EA, because I had also asked that one of our aunties, Auntie Barbara Robertson, be consulted with. There is family burials on HPA, what is now HPA property. And so we really wanted to and need to make sure that Grandma Kalani Ka'apuni Phillips's Iwi Kupuna are safe and will not be disturbed or disrupted during the process. So I guess a couple questions there. Mahalo.
Okay, for sure. As soon as we have the right of way established, one thing that we would likely do is have the DOT survey crew go out and stake out the location of where the right of way line is going to be in this grass area over here. We understand the significance of the burials and everything were within the rock wall area. We definitely wanted to avoid going into that. We're trying to stay as far away as possible. I mean, we got to get kind of close, but we definitely don't want to be even touching that rock wall. So that's one thing we understood and are taken into consideration for the project.
Thank you.
The HPA, the HPA driveway is right here.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, we're looking to do road work. I mean, resurfacing probably at this point to just tie in right before the driveway, or in the vicinity of the driveway.
Gotcha. Thank you. Will there be a cultural monitor on site? Is that kind of a Can we request that?
That
or-
has not been established at this point in time. If it is, it would be part of our construction contract requirements. It's definitely something we'd have to consider, and we'll work with the necessary parties to establish that.
Mahalo.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chinen. I
Yes.
missed it, but you mentioned about alternate route while this construction is going on. Is there any
Yes.
consideration for foot traffic?
Yes, we will be maintaining, or not maintaining, we'll provide a sidewalk similar to what's existing now on the north side of the roadway. This will be a continuous pedestrian route also on this side.
Okay. Because I know a lot of the students do use that roadway to get.
Oh
into
yeah,
the-
definitely.
All right.
We'll account for traffic, bicycle
Okay.
traffic, etc.
Thank you.
Hi,
All right.
Commissioner Nicole. Do you have your hand up, Commissioner Nicole? Louis?
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. How far away from the wall where the burials are will the temporary bridge be going? How far away from it? Do you
Very
folks, have you
close.
folks established that?
At
Oh.
one particular corner, it is going to be very close to the wall, and we
And
know we
when you
need
say
to.
close, how close?
That's a matter of a few feet.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very close.
okay. So there should have temporary buffers set up, yeah, before
Yeah,
any
I
of
mean,
that
there'll be
work starts.
construction
Yeah.
fence, so we will make sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we definitely do not want to disturb the
Okay.
the existing wall.
Is there a way, if a site visit is okayed and we do the site visit, will you folks be able to have that distance for us when we do the site visit? Is that possible?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Once we do have the location staked out there will probably be stakes every 20 feet or so you can kind of see where the lines would line up out in the field.
Okay. Thank you. And second question, is this project receiving federal funding?
Correct. Yes, it is.
It is. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then the third question, has there been talk about having an archaeological monitor? And the question being with Kule asked as
Sorry, Commissioner Nicole, can you repeat the question? It's kind of chopping out on the connection.
Okay, so is archaeological monitoring going to be in place for this project?
Yeah,
Do you
it is a
know?
consideration that we're working with
Okay.
State Historic Preservation on.
Okay, great. And so if if the project is receiving federal funding, then it might be a good idea to look into monies for a cultural monitor as well.
Understood.
That's just yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chinen. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw Scott Mahoney's hand up next. Please, Commissioner Mahoney, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question about the replication of that bridge. You trying to keep the same look as the cemented bridge right now, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Or
Yeah,
from the railing side as much as practical.
Yeah, will that stream name be on that bridge? As I see
Yes,
all the way
yes, it
there,
will.
all around the island.
Yes.
Okay, great. And also one other question: HPA is the only land you gotta acquire.
Correct.
There's no private lands.
The other land that we need is going to be temporary use. So there will be construction easements required for the temporary roadway, which that's of course only temporary. And so construction easements will allow us to at least construct the road, remove the road upon it project completion, and restore the land back to original and return it back to the landowner.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have a few questions. Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask either Mr. Chinen or Mr. Hirano at this time. Oh, Uncle Des, go ahead, please. Your sound, Uncle Des.
Sorry. I don't see anything on the plan about foliage or, plantings to kind of cool down the area. I'm just wondering if that's part of your plan.
Generally, it would be to restore whatever is
Existing.
existing out there. So, I mean, if we're doing all the work in this grass frontage area, what the project will take care of is just restoring back to grassed area.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything above and beyond what's out there now.
Okay. Because because of you widening the waterway to help with erosion and things like that. I'm not an expert on that, but that was my question. But thank you.
Okay. All right.
What I think I'm hearing from the commissioners is also that the CRC would like to continue being part of the consulting party to the 106, and that when the right-of-way flags are established, that we could do a site visit and go visually see ground truth what's there. I'm also from Waimea, or I'm from South Kona, but I live in Waimea, and I drive through this area quite a bit, and I have to say it's hard to get a place to stop and see it from all sides. It's quite a big project for our little town. And already, of course, there's traffic concerns on this narrow bridge now. My understanding is the bridge itself was built well. I did see a crack in it the other day in the head wall, just pointing that out. I think the temporary road is a great idea because we have traffic concerns in Waimea, and we can't have traffic backed up for island commerce. They basically have to be rerouted through Waikoloa. That's my suspicion. Especially the big trucks, but they have to go to Kauai Harbor. So that's one of the concerns just in terms of traffic and day-to-day impact for 18 months of the people of Waimea. Although the end product will be much improved, it's during that time period it'll be difficult for sure. One thing, I had heard a story before, the old road used to go by Pu'ukohala Heiau, down by Kauai High, and they realigned the road to be away from it. But during that time period when the road was next to the Heiau, the vibrations from vehicles was actually agitating the rocks and creating some rock fall. Here, I guess my point is that we're near to a rock wall within a few feet, let's say 3 or 5 feet. And so maybe there's some disruption to that wall just because of the semi trucks going by for 18 months. And so maybe there's some cost to repair the wall, or, any unforeseen damage that may come about from, unintended consequences, kind of a thing. Of course, we all want to avoid any stream impacts, and we're very grateful, whatever lengths you can go to keep any accidents from happening, right? Or if there is one, that it's controlled. One of the questions I think we have is, I don't think that you covered it in the presentation, but sorry if I missed it. Was there any alternate considerations to replacing the bridge in this roundabout configuration?
The full bridge replacement was always part of this project. The only other alternative was a different intersection configuration that was considered.
With a traffic light?
With a traffic light, yeah.
Oh, I like the roundabout a lot more. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the impression we're getting from a lot of folks. So
as long as it's big enough, my personal experience is the one at Maunalani Resort is a good size because you can see the yield traffic. But the one at Poipu Resort is way too small. Or Poipu, it's not the resort, it's by the fire station in Poipu. Basically meaning that when you're yielding, you want to be able to see the traffic coming.
Yeah.
But this is, relatively speaking, one lane. If you can zoom in on the curb, there's a couple of notes that I wanted to point out. One is, I always remember seeing the sign growing up, the no horses on footbridge. So when you mentioned that there was going to be the equestrian path, I was unsure. Is that shared with the humans?
That is going to be the intent right now. That's what we understand. We can provide a 10-foot wide path that's available for everybody.
Cool. Right on. I missed the
At
days.
least to get everybody on and off the bridge. And then
Yeah,
open up
yeah,
the
safely,
grass
yeah.
areas on each side. Yep.
So there's a 22-foot interior radius, and there's a 47-foot exterior radius, and they appear to be called out as the curb type 2A and a curb type 2D. Could you explain, is that like a level grade change or a material grade change between those? Okay.
So this is the actual, this outside circle is the actual vehicular pathway.
Okay.
This inner circle, the second inner circle is going to be a reinforced concrete apron that can handle the truck traffic, because, I guess for trucks to have to make something like a turn like this, they're going to have to jump up this little curb. It's like, I guess this type 2A is more of a mountable curb. It's intended for trucks to roll up and over. Whereas this type 2D curb is your typical almost rectangular 6-inch high curb.
Like
Nobody's
a
intended to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this middle circle is not intended for any traffic. So that's why we have the 6-inch curb around here.
So that leads to the next question, which ties back to, I think, I want to say it was Scott Mahoney had a question about vegetation, but I may have had that wrong. Sorry. Is there any way to beautify that inner 22-foot diameter with, Waimea has a lot of trees. We love trees.
Yeah, it's a consideration. Yeah,
okay.
For sure. It can either be landscaped or more maintenance free. It's something we will discuss with DOT.
The idea of a statue or monument, like I think of DC and roundabouts, and they always have like a thing in the middle, but we don't actually have a way to navigate to the middle here, right? Like humans aren't supposed to go to the middle to take pictures or to hang out.
Correct.
It's more of, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So human traffic and equestrian traffic is all around the perimeter. And I see the crosswalks you have in there.
Further on the outside. Yeah.
That's super helpful too, by the way, having those crosswalks to get, a lot of kids walk to school here, whether it's HPA or Waimea School or Parker. And so just having that ability to walk and make it a little more walkable is very nice. There's, just to point it out, there's all that electrical equipment you're going to have to deal with in the HPA right-of-way acquisition. There's like a bunch of ground mount stuff right there in the corner.
Yes.
And that was it. Those were all my comments and questions I had. Thank you.
Okay.
Do any other commissioners have any questions or comments at this time? Commissioner Mahoney?
Yeah, I had a question when you brought up the center circle with foliage or whatever. I would think that visibility for these roundabouts is priority over everything, so whatever you guys put in that middle or decide to put in that middle, I'm sure your concern is visibility, right? Where
correct,
everybody can see.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to put something, 44 feet wide going straight up in there. That's not.
Yeah. Okay, good.
They have stuck trees right in the middle, and yeah.
Yeah, I bring this up because all those roundabouts, I always get nervous when I go in over them. But yeah, thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
Commissioner Des, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment about that circle with vegetation. And I guess you guys are going to be doing a lot of roundabouts because of your logo. The logo is a roundabout logo. But in Puna, it's been a problem who caretakes those vegetation.
Yeah.
Several groups have stepped in and stepped out, and so that should be part of your funding if who's going to be appointed to do that. Yeah, that's a concern, especially visibility. The one in Puna here, Ainalo, is too small. The traffic got worse with that roundabout. It flows, but it has really slow traffic down in the evenings, especially after school and going to work. So I like the size of this roundabout because what Aaron shared about, the heavy trucks come through there.
Yes.
And, I walked there one time after a sporting event, and you can just feel the vibration of these trucks going through. So, yeah, it's a concern, especially for safety. Yeah.
Yes.
What? Thank you. That's a great question. Comments. Mr. Chinen, the center pier in the existing bridge, when it's removed, is there any like work to the stream bed to kind of remove concrete from rock, kind of the stream bed rock, or is it you're going to just have a little bit of concrete left over?
If anything, it would just be to take it just below where our surface level is and replace with rock or
Okay.
grouted rubble paving. It would match the similar look and the nature of the stream bed.
As opposed to like a scar in the landscape.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a big project. Waimea needs another road.
Yeah. Aloha again. I have just a couple more thoughts or comments. One is I was a little surprised too when you said equestrian traffic would kind of be brought back to the bridge. As a Parker Ranch child of a Parker Ranch cowboy, we were the ones that people would see riding our horses through town in the late 70s, early 80s, because our arena was actually in the back where Pukalani Stables is. And so we would literally ride through town to get to our arena. So it was, as far as I knew, or maybe had heard, and I don't know, you know, we never really did, or we don't let our children ride through town anymore, but I was under the impression that you couldn't ride your horse anymore through town, or much less across the Waiaka Bridge. That was kind of my understanding for the last decade or so. So that's, you know, if it is in the plans that you can.
We'll make it clear. Yes.
Thank you. That would be great clarification, because I'm sure my daughters would love to have that experience of saying they can ride horse through town like I did. One of my other comments is definitely about the stream work. And I know in one of your slides, you know, there was mentioned that there is no cultural maybe resources in the area besides maybe a gauge or something to that extent. But I do want to certainly point out and make sure that we understand that these rivers of Waimea, all rivers, all freshwater sources are home to Mo'owahine. And we absolutely know our Mo'owahine of Waimea, where Waiaka is a part of, right? The stream is going to change its name as it begins in the deep in the Kohala Mountains. And by the time it reaches out into the ocean of Kauai, it has changed names about 5 times.
Yeah.
But in that particular section where the bridge is, it is Waiaka, coming out of Waiauia, and then it's going to touch, become Keanui Omano, Waiulaula at the bottom. But again, to really make sure that people, that whoever will be working in that area, particularly doing the work in the stream, that, and I'm not even saying that it's a belief system that you believe or not, because if you ask me, there's no question. But Manaua is our Mo'owahine, and that is her traveled ways, her home, her traveled ways. And so to be very cognizant, respectful, and acknowledging that you all, whoever will be doing the work, will be in her space, her domain, her home. And we cannot not say anything about that. We cannot, not acknowledge and be extremely and heightened awareness of that these Mo'oakua, Akua Vai, we're in their space. So I want to make mention of that and have it be very well known that we will be in that space of Manaua. Mahalo.
Okay.
I had one more question. I didn't see it in the design set, but are there plans for signage for criteria C and D, or interpretive signage, or a place where someone could, walking through, read something about the 1932 bridge and the replacement and the Waiaka stream? And river?
That would be something we'd have to discuss with DOT, right? Right now, that hasn't been a consideration, but that is a point we'll take back to DOT.
I think especially for people walking, it's harder to just read stuff when you're driving, yeah. But when you're walking, you can always go past the sign, and that might be very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ku'ule, for bringing that up. Do any other commissioners have any questions for the DOT team at this time?
I want to mahalo Ku'ule that for putting that on the record, and for future generations when they view this recorded video, that they understand the importance of our culture and our generations to come. Mahalo Ku'ule.
Yeah, I want to mahalo Ule as well. Thank you for bringing that up. And this is Commissioner Nicole. Sorry. Thank you, Kule. Very, very well said. And we also got to think of the ili in the riverbed. So the people did use the ili, and I'm a hula dancer myself. So ili very important. Mahalo.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Last chance. Anyone want to say anything? Good. Mr. Hirano.
Yes, I have one comment regarding the bridge name. When we were coordinating with SHPD regarding the stream name and what the bridge name should be, we looked at what the stream name was in that area, and we revised the bridge name to the stream name. I'm trying to find the name that we replied with. It's Ke'a Nui o Mano Stream. And so the bridge name would follow the stream name it passes over. Is that an issue that should be readdressed with SHPD?
Yes, I would definitely say so, because again, that's the thing about ground truthing things, right? And again, I certainly defer to the people that I have learned from. Keanui o Mano is more Makai. It's below Waiaka. The same stream system begins as Koha Kohau. And then by the time it comes to where Anna Ranch is, Jacaranda Inn, it changes its name to become Waiauia. By the time it arrives where we're talking about, it becomes Waiaka. Keanui o Mano, as we drive down Koihai Road in the vicinity of Kanehoa subdivisions, Anekona, that's where it becomes Keanui o Mano. And then more Makai of that, it is going to change and become Waiulaula. So to that extent, that's what I know. And again, you are very right. The land section that the stream is upon or traverses assumes the name. So when you see Waiauia, that is the land section. And so rightfully so, the stream, that section of the stream that comes through Waiauia is known as Waiauia. And when it comes to this, where the bridge is, it's in the land section of Waiaka, it becomes Waiaka. So to follow suit with that, and again, I can further comment and or bring in some of the Waimea Kupuna that hopefully were consulted with as well. But rightfully so, to what we know, that bridge is in the land section of Waiaka. And so the right name of the bridge is Waiaka, to the extent that I know.
Okay.
And I think we discussed that in our previous discussions with SHPD, that we were going to maintain the name as Waiaka Bridge. I know there was so much different information we had as far as the actual stream running under it, but the significance of the bridge, we're going to maintain the Waiaka Bridge name for this one.
Do we need anything from the CRC to support that?
That would help, but we'd really like to keep it as Waihaka Bridge. We understand the significance of it.
Everyone in Waimea will be confused if the name changes. So please, let's keep it Waihaka.
Yeah, I think that was all part of it, part of the discussion. So
Thank you.
Waihaka Bridge is what we're looking at as imprinting on the bridge rail.
Cool.
And hi, Nicole again. Yeah, I want to concur with Kule because my great grand uncle Kehau Solomon, the owner of the museum, Kamuela Museum, he said the same thing. Waiaka is Waiaka, and Kianui Omano is the name of the portion below Waiaka. So thank you, Kule. You juggled my memory. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Real good. Any other comments? Okay.
Waiaka Uapo? Give it a Hawaiian name.
Okapu?
Uapo means bridge, yeah, literally. Just since we're in the cultural mood right now. I think Uapo, yeah, Uapo is bridge, I'm pretty sure. Not Papaniho. That's all.
Okay.
So I'll ask staff for some support here. It seems like we've gone through a good question and answer session. Oh, Kevin, you have your hand up. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, you continue. I was going to add some things, but it's probably related to what you're going to ask me. So go ahead.
Should we have look for a motion on the floor to recommend continued consultation and turn matters over to CRC staff?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've got some questions actually of the applicant that might be able to help us answer that question. So I guess my first question is in relation to the ground truthing and the site visit and the schedule for the bridge. I'm understanding that summer of 2024 is when final design completion and plans should be done, but no groundbreaking would happen after that. So I guess one of my questions is, if the CRC was to request a site visit, make a motion for a site visit with the applicant, what is the best timing of that from your point of view? Because we certainly, from what I'm hearing today, the proximity to the corner of that rock wall is imperative. One item. So I guess just want to get a feel from DOT about that.
Yeah, it would definitely want to be sooner than later. The right-of-way requirements are one of the long lead items that we need to address.
Okay.
Part of that, not only with the roadway, but it does involve the utility relocations we need to accommodate for those facilities. So we're working soon as we're able to establish the right-of-way and the construction easement requirements for the temporary bridge. We would let you folks know, and then we would have those locations staked out on the ground in the field, and site visit can be arranged with DOT personnel.
Okay. So is that something you guys are actively scoping and working on now, is to get survey teams out there to stake?
It would be after we have the right-of-way requirements established. I know we're working with Hawaiʻi Electric on where they need poles in this area. So I mean, right now we're showing right-of-way requirements for our roadway, but they may need a pole somewhere in this area that we need to capture with our right-of-way take.
Okay, so that would happen before
that's
next
ongoing court. Oh yeah. No, we need to have that like now.
Okay, so
right-of-way take is almost a 1-year process type of thing at least. So
we
understand it is a long lead item.
Okay, so we'd be potentially looking, if the CRC made a motion and we organized a site visit, it would certainly be between now and the end of the year, for example.
Yeah, that would be a good time frame.
That helps narrow down coordination time. My second clarity, the final EA, the finding of that was it no adverse impact?
Yes.
Okay, finding of no significant impact to the environmental resources. But so far, SHPD has denoted with loss of the bridge an adverse impact to the
Yes.
historical resource. Okay. The reason I'm asking this is in regards to section 800-5 of the section 106 in regards to mitigating adverse impacts, which the CRC can obviously make recommendations and comments to you guys about. And right now it's at architectural recordation as the proposed. That's proposed to mitigate all the adverse impacts to the historic resource. And in regards to any consideration of interpretive signage for either the bridge and or the stream, and I'm hearing some very impactful discussion about our historical and cultural resources, not just of the loss of the historic bridge, but the much older historic and cultural resources of the stream itself and the way that changes, the way that passes through Waimea. So I wanted to ask, I wanted to connect those sort of things. And if the CRC is considering a recommendation that DOT consider interpretive signage of any sort, that it also speak to the culture of the stream itself. And maybe that signage could not only talk about the historic bridge that was lost, but moreover, the way our streams run through our lands, culturally and from a Hawaiian perspective. And I would personally, if I was walking around this roundabout, I'd take the time to read something like that as I cross the stream, perhaps, or just get on the other side, or what have you. And then my other question, so that's more of a comment for everyone to consider. My other question is, will there be a crosswalk on the southern, on Kauai Road? I see crosswalks on the right and left. Is there one down there?
We're looking into that right now. It's really tight for the space to have a crosswalk. If we can fit one in, we will. Otherwise, the next crossing would be probably at the adjacent intersection that's right around this area.
Okay, so they'd go around. So if there's not one to the south, then everybody got to go around to the north. It looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. I just want to clarify that. And then let's see what other comments I have. I also heard a recommendation for cultural archaeological monitoring on site. And then the final, I guess, comment or question I just wanted to weigh in on is any beautification of the interior of the roundabout itself. Is the 22-foot radial area currently proposed to be concrete?
It has not been determined, to be determined.
Okay. I'm also an arborist, and I find trees to be a cultural and community asset. So I would potentially recommend a specimen tree be considered in the middle of that roundabout, species to be determined. But with the right tree in the right place, I think DOT may find it easier to maintain one tree and maybe get a local group to maintain one tree rather than a large amount of vegetation. Over time, as that tree grows taller, the canopy can be raised to maintain site view planes and so forth. So that's just something else I wanted to weigh in on, because we are getting a lot of roundabouts and they are going to be community assets. So any sort of everybody, we mentioned landscape. So that's all. Those are the things I wanted to mention or ask so that we could better carry forward a motion or set of motions. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
No,
Kevin.
thanks for that input. Yeah.
Hopefully that helps. Thanks.
Thank you both. I saw Commissioner Dez's hand up. Do you still want to make a comment, Uncle Des?
Just about if, I mean, for the record, if a motion is, should be entered into the record, I move that the CRC be part of the monitors of this project. And even though some of the commissioners should change, that they also be included in that. But I believe we discussed that about vegetation as far as the roundabout, visibility and who's going to take care of it. Big problem here in Puna about who's taking care of it. And, so, but if a motion is needed, I'll move to have the commission be part of this monitoring. If anybody wants to add to that, I think that should be enough. What do you think, Aaron? Or anybody else, or any other commissioners?
I'm not supposed to move or second, so I'm just here to.
Well, my concern is that we be part of this process so that we can monitor the cultural mid-vegetation was mentioned, that the proper name is used. It is a cultural resource commission, and we should be part of that. And I think Kule should really be part of that that process because of her ike in this area, being Kekioka of this area. So it's important that we do things correctly so that, and I'm just for our future generations, yeah. Our children is in, they are a kupuna in training. So providing signage and things like that, not necessarily for visitors, but for our local people, because I know a lot of local people don't know the mo'olelo of this area, yeah. And it's going to be traversed, heavily by foot traffic, equestrian, as well as vehicle traffic. So it's important then, and this is a great opportunity for Department of Transportation, DOT, to do something really culturally based rather than developing based. It's a great opportunity for Waimea because of the accessibility to Kona, to Kaihai, to the hotels. I think it's really important to have that. Waikolo has a great entrance, but there's nothing there but that structure, and people go there and stop, but they don't know what that is all about. So I think signage is important as it'd be a great place for strong educational, cultural area. That would be my motion, that we be involved. And I know the commissioners change it, term out, but that make sure that this motion is carries on for years to come. Amen. It's lunch.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt the flow a little bit. Just procedurally, and for everybody who can't see me, this is Jean Campbell, your Deputy Corporation Counsel. Can I keep us on track procedurally, and rather than launching into discussion, we have a motion on the floor. We either need a second or no second in order for you to continue discussion on this one.
Yeah, and Chair, I had a couple of comments too I wanted to share. I had my hand up.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can we deal with the motion that's on the floor before we launch into discussion on this?
Commissioner Hirano seconds.
Thank you. And it might be easier at this point if we don't have screen share any longer, unless you think that there's something there so that you can all see each other and see what's happening. So now you're wide open for discussion on the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Desmond, and we have a second by Commissioner Kilohana. And that's if I understand right, the motion is that the CRC remain as a monitor or consultant to the project, not just for this in-panel commission, but for commissions to come. Is that fair? Okay. And so we open it up for discussion. And I think I saw Commissioner Kealoha's hand up next.
Aloha. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, I'm in favor of this motion, but I guess I had a couple of comments. And I call them it kind of took me a little while to kind of figure out what it was, sort of to become a quick study of this particular area. I'm not from Waimea, but I've been through that area many times. And I guess what I want to know, or what I feel like I'd like to know more about is kind of the hydrological modeling that's going into this change in the stream, this change in the bridge that's being put in place. I looked through the EA and I kind of looked around for this information, but I didn't feel like it was adequate enough for me to understand, like, how will the flow, how will the velocity, how will the path change as you change this, this bridge. And so it's hard for me to know, like, how, in the event of a 100-year flood or other kinds of flood events, how that might impact areas downstream or even within or around the bridge area. I think that bridge has been in there for like, what, 90 years or something, and people kind of know, like, sort of what happens when you get big rain, right? But and obviously this will be kind of an improvement, I guess, sort of restoring probably what was sort of a larger fetch across that stream. It looks like they built it in a little bit to put that bridge in the first place, right? There wasn't, I don't think it was that narrow. And now there's going to be a larger stretch across that. And I guess I'm just wondering, and maybe it's because of all this sort of media, of all these devastating floods that are taking place across the world, like horrible floods. Sorry, just thinking about the potential issues. Maybe that's on my mind. But I guess I'm definitely in favor of this motion, and I guess I would just ask for more information about sort of what people predict the path and flow and velocity of this water will be under different kinds of scenarios, different kinds of conditions. And that will help me better understand how it might impact this landscape and the heritage of this landscape. So I guess that's what I would ask for as we move through this process. Mahalo.
Thank you, Commissioner. I see Commissioner Dez's hand up. Go ahead, Uncle.
I'm glad that the motion got seconded in discussion. A couple of things, water rights. I know that stream was heavily functional ancestrally, and people thrived because of that. But my question, I don't know who's doing the EA, or question to Darren, has the water been diverted from that stream, but it doesn't flow the way it used to flow? Any study on that? Any redirection of the water to water the golf courses and things like that?
Not that we understand. Our hydrologic study covered the general vicinity of the area. I mean, we go a few hundred feet up and a few hundred feet down. That area, like you folks noted, it was choked down for the original stream. This is the stream right here. And the stream bed is, roughly you can kind of see how the contours are over here, and it just chokes down to this opening right here. So I mean, and I guess downstream impacts from the additional opening and flow, that it's all evaluated as part of our hydrologic and hydraulic evaluations as part of the project. That work is all ongoing right now.
I see.
Yeah, well, so to circle back to Commissioner Kinney, it's just that it was like I say, it was once thriving stream that fed our Iliahi forest. It was very dependent, especially the people downstream. So my question in fighting for water rights on Maui, that a lot of the water has been diverted. And that was my question. It's if it is, say Kohala Ranch, for example, is diverting in water to or any of the hotels and things like that, Kohala Ranch acreage, if it's been diverted, would the Department of the Transportation be part of the release of this water system? Because now we have Hawaiian Homes that's below there would benefit growing foods and things like that because of our food supply. So there's a lot of things involved in that stream. That would be my question, just that. Has any study directed at the water system?
Yeah. That would be something that we'd bring back to DOT because that's above and beyond what we're looking at, for our project.
I just to jump in real quick, I think Kohala Ranch is on a private well system, and Kailapa community gets sold water by them, but because the County Department of Water Supply and the Hawaiian Homes Commission couldn't figure out how to bring water improvements to that location. So just Kohala Ranch is a little bit farther north, I think a different stream system. I saw Commissioner Scott Mahoney's hand up.
Yeah, yeah. And to me, the CRC is already involved in the monitoring of this project and all the projects. So I really don't, and then if you bring in a cultural monitor, that person is going to really be in tune in what's happening with that project. So I just have a little bit of confusion on what the motion is really going to do for the project and for the CRC. I don't know what else it's going to do because we're already involved, right?
That's correct. We are a consulting party on the Section 106 currently. You're correct. It would be somewhat, I don't want to say redundant, but it could be affirmative if we just pass a motion and say, we do want to remain a consulting party to the 106. And then I think we need to, so we can deal with that first, or you can withdraw the motion, recognizing that CRC remains a consulting party, and we can move on to motioning for the site visit. If that's something you still want to do. Or you could make a motion as part of this to remain consulting party and to forward the comments that have been discussed in this meeting. I'd put together a letter to DOT that would also make space for that site visit once they contact us with the staking and so forth and so on. We could mention the stream bridge name. You could go as far as to add in specific motions you want me to include, if that's interpretive signage to be considered or landscaping to be considered, things like that. So I'll defer to Gene on the individual, how many motions we do individually versus grouping them. But we have options.
Are we allowed to amend a motion, Gene?
You can amend a motion. I think at this point, well, you have basically three options at this point. You have the specific motion on the floor right now, which I think you all understand. You can vote on it. And just because you're voting on it doesn't mean you have to pass it, right? You can vote negatively if you want to. It's up to you guys how you vote on it. So you can vote on it the way that it is. You can amend it, in which case what you do is you would first vote on the amendment, and then you would go back and vote on the main motion on the floor. Or if you decide that you are sort of changing your mind altogether, you can withdraw this current motion and make a different one. So you have those three options.
Thank you, Gene.
I'll comment on that. The spirit of this motion was to make sure that we do things correctly, and because laws change, legislation change, leadership changes. The impact of this area is impacting a huge community. It requires a lot, not only our maritime industry too. And I just want to make sure that it's being held. If everybody is confident that it will be held because of the commission and 106 and whatever provisions is in the law, I just don't want to lose sight of this, and that's the spirit of this motion. But if everybody's in agreement with that, then I'll keep it. If not, we can move it to the next commission, and I'll withdraw this motion. But I need to hear everybody on that.
I like the motion as it stands. I would tend to call for a vote. As it stands, which is that the motion on the floor is that the commission will be a monitor, maybe / consultant. I think I'm adding that word in. Sorry, Uncle Des.
Oh, it's fine.
But that we're
The spirit is, I'm sorry, but the spirit of this motion is, I don't trust the state. You know, they wake up the next morning, everything changes. So I wanted to, on the record, that I want to protect our position here, especially for this area. It's very important to, I mean, a huge community concern. Everybody traverses that, and like even the maritime industry. I mean, yeah, our striker brigade. You know, I mean, it's all over the place, and I want to make sure that we stay involved and be part of this process. That was the spirit of that motion. But add, delete whatever you folks want before I remove it, and I'm fine with that. But you understand the spirit of this motion.
I tend to want to bring this to
Chairman.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Commissioner Nicole, go ahead.
Yes, your Manao. I can monitor about.
Sorry, Commissioner Louis, the sound is cutting in and out.
Can you hear me?
Much
Okay,
better
can
now.
you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay. So I've been a cultural monitor for the last 13 years for county projects and privately owned projects, I guess. And then so, you know, like having someone from the area to be the cultural monitor, to work alongside with the archaeological monitor is very helpful. And if Kule would take that responsibility to be the cultural monitor, she would have to be on site, working alongside with the archaeological monitor, making sure that all the fences are up, everything is in place, the protection is in place for the sites, and say there's kupuna iwi, we're going to have to even watch that. So, and you would, if anything does come up, then the cultural monitor would have to be that liaison between the government, the descendants of the area, the recognized descendants, and the community. So it's a big responsibility to be a cultural monitor. Not, you know, it would be wonderful to have a cultural monitor out on that project, because that person would have to know everything about the area. And Kule is like a wonderful asset to do that. So, but that's if she wants to take on that responsibility, or anybody from Waimea who has the same knowledge that she does. So that's just what I just wanted to share that with you, Uncle Des, and everybody else. And that being a cultural monitor would be very helpful, because then that person would let us know as well what's going on, if that's if that communication is possible. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share.
Mahalo, just a suggestion for Kule to get a luau plate, so you can you can put it on
Thank you all for the comments. My tendency is to call for a vote on the motion on the floor, and if that's okay with everybody, I'd like to do a roll call vote. Staff. Uncle Des, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Can I vote on my motion? Yeah, I can.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll call roll.
Okay.
Jasmine Halmea.
Aye.
Kilohana Hirano,
Aye.
Kealoha Kenny,
Aye.
Ku'ule,
Aye.
Matt Clark,
Aye.
Scott Mahoney,
Aye.
Natalie Kirishima,
Aye.
Nicole. Is that Nicole?
Aye.
And Chair Spielman.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Super. Let it show the motion passed unanimously, and we could easily jump into any other motions at this time. I'd love to see them combine, and maybe we even have a follow-up letter from staff, but one being we have, as a commission, certain recommendations that we discussed. And those include landscape and the bridge and traffic and side crossing walks. And the other, and interpretive signage, covering both the stream and the bridge. There's kind of a list of things that we want to be involved in. And then also as a, Kevin, maybe help me out with this. What, short of having DOT come back and present more information, is there a way to pass information back and forth to the CRC when it becomes available?
Yes.
So I don't exactly know what the next motion is, only maybe that we have recommendations, and then to follow on Uncle Dez's motion that we want to maintain a relationship with the project.
Yeah. I guess one motion would be to direct staff to prepare a communication with the recommendations discussed at this meeting. Specifically, recommendation and comment, basically, regarding the, what I have is a recommendation that cultural monitoring be employed on site during construction, and we'd coordinate with SHPO on that. And then the second would be, we'd probably make some comment about the sympathetic design of the railings. I heard landscaping. There may be some recommendation regarding landscaping. Potentially the stream name on the bridge that may also coincide with the sympathetic design. And then I think the biggest one was a motion for a site visit.
And
So,
signage was in there too, sorry, interpretive
yeah,
signage.
I think, and Gene can concur with me or not, that the site visit motion and recommendation be separate from the direction to staff to complete a letter.
Okay, I like that too.
I think that's simpler.
Okay. Maybe we could ask for a motion if anyone would like to propose a site visit when appropriate.
Hi, Commissioner Hirano recommends a permitted what is it called?
Permitted interaction group.
Interaction subcommittee.
Thank you.
Recommend a permitted interaction subcommittee to request a site visit pending right-of-way establishment by the DOT.
Second.
I second. Oh. Okay.
Couple seconds, I like it. Good job.
Beat you, Louis.
Nicole seconded. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Nicole and
Okay.
Des second. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Des.
Oh, this, yeah.
It's like Family Feud. You got to be quick on the button.
So we have a motion on the floor for a site visit pending the establishment of the right of way. Is there any discussion at this time? Would anybody like to volunteer? I live in Waimea. I'm happy to go. I know Ku'ule would love to go. How many do we need? 3, 4? Okay. Uncle Des and Uncle Scott, could we include that in the It's not part of the motion, but it's part of the discussion.
Actually, your group needs to be less than a quorum.
What's our quorum?
Yeah, and it would be a good idea to identify who they are and what the purpose of the permitted interaction group is.
Okay.
I think you've kind of articulated the purpose already, but identifying the people would be good.
And
And we have 4.
Yes,
four is quorum.
No,
5 is
Five
quorum.
is quorum.
4 is our max for subcommittees.
4, yes.
Okay.
So you
Can I be
have up
number
to four.
5?
No,
Do you have a number 5? Oh, cannot. Okay.
cannot.
If you want to go, Auntie Nicole, then I'll politely step back if you want to step in.
You go ahead. Just make sure they have that distance of wall. Yeah.
The sense of what, sorry? Sorry, Nicole, I can't hear. You're on mute. Sorry, Commissioner Nicole, you're on mute.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think myself, Commissioner Ku'ule, Commissioner Desmond, and Commissioner Scott Mahoney would be available to go to a permitted interaction group as part of the motion. And then I think we could, unless there's any more discussion, we could call for a vote, roll call vote.
Yes.
Okay.
On the for the motion on the floor, Kilohana Parana,
Aye.
Desmond Hamea,
Aye.
Scott Mahoney,
Aye.
Natalie Kurishima,
Did you hear me? Sorry. Aye.
okay. Matt,
Aye.
Nicole,
I.
Kule,
Aye.
Kealoha,
Aye.
and Chair Spielman.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, show that the motion passes unanimously. And now our third motion that we're looking for is for staff to draft a letter with the recommendations and comments.
Commissioner Kirano motions to recommend TRC staff draft a letter to the DOT outlining additional mitigation to cultural and historical resources to this project.
I second.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Kilohana. Great. So we have a motion on the floor. I'll open it up for discussion. Staff, do we have to list out those specific things, or will you just include those in your draft?
I'll include them, and what I have now is the stream naming on the bridge, the landscaping, sympathetic design of the bridge itself, mainly the railings. Probably put in a request for the cultural monitoring as well in that letter. Yeah, and all of those, under the mitigating adverse impact standard.
And interpretive signage.
And thank you, and interpretive signage.
And does that cover everything that commissioners would feel comfortable with? Is there anything else that we should be including at this time as a? Okay.
Sorry, Aaron, can I interject one thing? For
Please go
Kevin?
ahead, Mr. Chair.
On the bridge name, we did confirm we're gonna replace it with Waiaka Bridge.
Wow, okay.
Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you. Super. So number 3, we have a motion on the floor for staff to draft a letter, and would that share wide or just between draft and myself, between staff and myself?
As the move on, I'm
That's
okay
cool.
with it just being between staff and the chair.
Okay, thank you. So we can work with that, Kevin, and I think I'd like to call for a vote on that. Roll call vote, please.
Yes, sir. Kilohana,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
thank you. Desmond,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Natalie,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Kule,
Aye.
Kealoha,
Aye.
and Chair Spielman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, it showed the motions passed unanimously. So we have 3 motions from today's business. That's excellent. Thank you, everybody. We don't have any other business items today, so we're going to move into administrative matters. Approval of minutes from August, whatever date that was, sorry, 2023. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Cultural Resources Commission held on August? Sorry, Kim, I don't have that date.
It's actually July 12th. Your August meeting was canceled.
It was, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's right. We missed August. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Cultural Resources Commission meeting held on July 12th, 2023?
I move to accept.
I,
Stated.
So I got Uncle Des with the motion and Auntie Ku'ule with the, I'm sorry, Auntie Nicole with the second.
She was quick.
okay.
So it was moved by Commissioner Desmond and seconded by Commissioner Louis. Any discussion? All good, no corrections. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. I don't see any opposed. Minutes approved as circulated. The next meeting will be on October 18th. That's the 3rd week of October, not the 2nd week. And sorry, there's probably one more thing I'm supposed to read here. This concludes the items on this agenda. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Chair, I make a motion to
I
adjourn the
move that we
meeting.
adjourn the meeting.
Double motion, adjourn the meeting. And can I get a second?
This is way
Second.
too early. We're convening way too early. I mean, adjourning way too early.
I'll
I
second.
second.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. It was lovely to see everybody and thank you all for coming and being available. Very nice.
Likewise.
Thank you,
Likewise.
staff.
Aloha mai
Thank you
kako.
all.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
We will.
Aloha, Kako, ahui ho.
Aloha.